Hi, I'm here. Sorry. This is Deja Vu, the channel Deja Vu. I am here and I'm struggling over here. I was going to talk about different topics and I don't know if my mic is on. Yeah. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you doing? I'm struggling. Last week, Carrie and I were working together and she clarified for me that my reads were correct on my memories, things that were coming back, and it's around certain things that are in the public eye right now for many people. And not long after all that happened, I started getting like headaches, migraines. I've been throwing myself into the other readings, but it has come to my attention. I think I'm under attack. I don't know. I keep getting for the readings nano dust and sorcery. Obviously, if people want to attack you, they can go through electronic and sorcery. So I'm not at all certain if it's the particular entity in which I dealt with, if it's JE, I don't know. So anyway, it could be the GOV. It could be any of them. And I have massive body pain because I was sitting so much lately in reading. So I was going to read some more, but I decided to put a little bit of things together to read over at the other channels. And as much as I really want to do things, my body is just really limiting me. I'm just really feeling, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, I feel like they're trying to attack me at any level they can. I really do. But anyway. So I'm also feeling really disheartened because I feel like we're being beat down so badly. Trying to rectify things, remove players, people that are not worthy or are dangerous and damaging, toxic and wrong. And I'm not allowed to speak out. And I'm feeling so drained. Hi, Ludwig. How are you doing? Bro, what the F you talking about? Well, you're probably not from the US. We're going through things here. Anyway, I talk about all kinds of things here anyway, but I'm going to pull some cards that are like this mini collection I have. They're little itty bitty cards. And I'm going to throw them into a little teacup. And whichever ones I pull, I will read out loud. They will be for the upcoming stream that I do. I don't know when Carrie will show up, if we will talk about and read on things that she has that she's going to list to do with her part of the world up in Canada. But in the US, we are going through a lot. So I think that they're trying to attack me, but it's kind of sad because they're probably after a lot of us, a lot of people who I'm assuming readers in general. So it may not be my personal story that they're going after. I think they don't want people telling the truth. They don't want people finding the truth. They're very evil entities. So yeah, I have command post, control room. I have guilty knowledge, somebody's knowledge. They have guilty information. They're guilty of having some intel, maybe. Somebody has a common enemy. So this could be us dealing with, us, different nations, dealing with a common enemy, one particular enemy. We have collusion pact. We have a mistrial. Hi, Angel. How are you? Pointless to do a stream without a video. Well, you can just take a hike. You don't have to be here. Because did I ask you to come in? No. So this is no. Nara, buddy. Sorry, guys. I just don't have the patience for it. I just don't. Stakeout and surveillance. Somebody is under watch. Okay, somebody is under watch. It could be all of us because they have the Palantir thing, right? Secret code, cipher code. That will be a fun one to read on. Wonder what that is supposed to be about. Ambush point. So this is like a mousetrap, a honeypot. Somebody trying to get the cheese. Somebody's trying to get the mouse before it gets the cheese. Somebody's being strung along. Somebody is being hunted. Somebody's waiting for the right moment to leave or come to a particular location. But they're being watched. It could be taken. This could be the cold-hearted ones we talk about doing something of that nature. Compromised data breach. I heard that something like that is either about to happen or did happen with Discord. There was some kind of a threat to their server, taking them out. Something I got intel on about the dark web. Now, I don't go to the dark web. A reputable channel I go to, Deep Humor, he spoke on the dark web was reporting something, I guess, about Discord, and a bunch of _HACKERs was going to take them down or something. I don't know. Systematic failure. We have no witnesses. Somebody is committing a crime and they want to be certain there's not going to be any witnesses. And this could be in the highly surveilled area. I see somebody in the card holding a cord. So it could be they cut the camera, the feed, so they can get away with their crime. You know what? I don't know why you're even here. So thanks for coming by. Umbrella, yeah. Do people just make a habit of just dropping in places and start spewing things without thinking before speaking? I mean, you people, really? Yeah, I know that you, RT, are hanging around, so just leave me the F alone, okay? Because you don't belong in my energy, and I'm returning to sender anything you're doing. So take all your sock puppet accounts with you, because I know you're hanging around. We have stolen identity. Gee, I wonder, do catfishes, do they qualify as stolen identity? People who will create identities and fish around for people and have fake names, identities, backgrounds, schools, histories, jobs. People who aren't real, they don't share truth about themselves. I've exploited things about myself. I don't have a list of different things about myself, RT. I'm one person, but you're probably parading my account around, acting like me or something, and you're gonna get yours. Trust me. There will be karma for this. I know you don't believe in karma, but it will happen. We have confirm yes. So there's yes on confirmation on that, or something. I don't know what. And I'm sorry, Jeffrey, if you're hearing this or if anyone else is, I'm over it. I'm under this scalar and or whatever BS going on, and I'm over it. I'm not playing anymore. Open case. Somebody is trying to solve an open case. Somebody is now in custody. They are behind bars. They're in the clink. I don't know who that would be. There is a smoke screen. There is some kind of smoke screen going. I will sift through and see what is useful on these. There is cross-examination. Hey, Eagle Money, how are you doing? How's everything been in your world? Ground search. Somebody's hunting something in the forest with canine units. Somebody, something, maybe the remains of somebody. We have obstruction, interference. This is a court situation. I keep on seeing a great big splotch in my mind's eye. Like I'm visibly seeing like a big splotch of red, like BLOOD. Like somebody, yeah, it's a pretty fatal wound. I can't see them. I'm just seeing the stain. And it's like, if you can imagine bright red and then the edging, like kind of like watercolor. So it's like, yeah, somebody was either shot or STABBED'd. I don't know. Empty space. Yeah, my abilities are trying to come online, and I think they're attacking me too. So it's like I have a massive headache while I have the visuals coming through, and this is hard to balance the two out. They do show themselves quickly, yes. Be it that they're AI or something else. You know, I'm dealing with also people who are. Do you remember that old song with the OJs called the Backstabbers? I am dealing with people who portray themselves as friends and or are using sock puppet accounts. I think that show up in the communities, and I know they're there. And the thing is, a lot of it is related to that person I mentioned who I was talking to a little bit ago, because he is trying to haunt me. He is trying to come around. Long story short, about 2 months, a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago, I went through my emails and I was looking through my spam folders and my messages from some of the platforms I don't go to now, because I was trying to clean that up so that they won't send me that kind of stuff anymore, because I was trying to I don't want to rely on the those data centers. I don't want to be, I mean, obviously I do because I use it still, but I wanted to cut down my use of it. So I was like, well, they don't need to be sending me spam. I need to clean it all up. I need to get everything out and put them, file them in, they shouldn't be sending me mail, unsubscribing, whatever I could do, right? And he had a message, I think it was from him, because my accounts were like barely known. They were so untouchable. And it seems like he was always finding new names to go by to contact me. And so I think he's mad because every attempt he's made, I think that he feels I've ignored him, which I have. It ended a long time ago. And that's the way it's supposed to be. It's the way it is supposed to be. Everything is how it should be. Nadia, not everything is about the face. So I am really sorry to tell you, you're not going to get a face here. Okay? But thank you for coming by. Okay, so here we have the blind spot. So yeah, just your eyes are not even, you're supposed to have an instrument between your ears, gray matter. You're supposed to have a brain. You don't have to use your eyes for everything. I'm sorry. I am in a mood tonight, guys. And no, it's just that I'm under this kind of, it's horrible. Like the scale, I know there's scalar technology going on or something like this. And Also, I have, like, ancestry and things like this trying to get through. So I think I have, like, 2 things trying to battle it out with me right now. It is so hard. And I didn't wanna be quiet. And actually, I really don't wanna be quiet. I think I need to divulge some things here. Control tactic. Yeah, control tactic. That's what they're doing on me right now. I think I need to divulge some things here because it might be better to have it revealed for safety purposes, maybe. So I don't care how anyone takes this or how they don't believe or they do believe. Carrie and I were working together, and she clarified with her pendant or her pendulum. Okay, her pendulum. And I used my pendulum, and I also used cards, and I got the truth. And I started having some real eerie feelings because I did meet J.E. I did. I do recall J.E. knowing the molecular geneticist that took me under wing and was trying to pretend to date me, or made it look like that was his interest in me, was to date me. And then he was the one that made me watch all the 007 movies, and I think that Project Monarch was part of this, but ultimately the two of them worked together, and they were both international. I think they traveled overseas with each other. And JE come into my life right around the time, but I didn't know him on a personal level. I just met him at the facility. And the thing is that I have some murky memory when this one man that I met took me to a park, and he roofied me, and then I realized that he was a Draco. And it wasn't that I realized it then. It took me some time to put it together because I think that that memory had to resurface. And the point is that there has been some talk about JE doing that. And I think that this character that was the one that took me to the park and poured something into my drink, I think that he was JE, possibly, or the same family. Maybe the Dracos do this and they all work together. I don't know. There was another thing that I had a memory that come back with this guy. And he's the cause of the downfall of my relationship I had at the time then too, mind you, because I trusted him, thought he was a friend, and he took advantage of me. I was a minor. I was 17. Um, but this girl, he took me to this house, and he said it was for business purposes. He said he was a federal agent. I was told he was. I don't know if that's true. That's the position he said he had. But then cloaking and doing these different energy works that these entity Dracos can change their images. So this guy could have been JE, or it could have been somebody like JE, and they worked in tandem. I don't know for sure. I don't. But anyways, I asked Carrie to look too after I did, because I got JE as a positive on the read. And there was this girl he took me to see that at the house, and he said it was for business. And she had a broken leg, and she was laid up in bed, a hospital bed, in the living room. And she was only, I think, like between 9 and 12. And all I can say is that piecing everything together, what's going on, I've not read the files myself. I've tried to stay away from it. It's so dehumanify. I can't even talk. I'm just so disheartened over everything that we have sustained as a world, as a nation, that little people, young people, have to go through this. And then I can't do something to help, to fix things, and it's just so upsetting. Yeah, he can, from what they said. I don't know if it's true, but I did experience in my own shape-shifting scenario, which is very frightening when I think back to it. And when you think of the checkerboard, okay, because when you think of occultism, the checkerboard is pretty intricate often. For me, I had a pair of sunglasses that I had on me when I went in my purse when I went with him. I wound up somewhere where I was staying with him, and he tricked me. I was roofied, okay, at a park. I was taken to a place. He tricked me, took me to a motel. And this is where this happened. I had a pair of sunglasses that were actually, in that day and age, were checker, white and black, like the chessboard. And I can't help but think back to those sunglasses. I always miss them thinking about that. But thinking about this whole story, I think most of our children who've experienced this via that big conglomeracy, or the ones that we consider to be, I don't like using the term elite because they're scoundrels, they're nasty. But those that are untouchable at this time, right? Um, at least in America, the rest of the world I think is doing things, but I'm not sure to take care of it. But I think that they have ways. They play with the head, they play with the mind, the memory. And it's really hard when you're not a credible witness to go and say, this person did it, especially if they're shape shifting. If there's any kind of, like technology used against the victim, it's hard to be a credible witness. And my own boyfriend would not have listened to me. He believed that I cheated on him. He didn't. So there was no way that I was already feeling ashamed. There was no way I was going to say, um, I think he threw something in my drink and I was not, there's no way I think he would have listened or believed me. And for that, I'm disgusted by him because I let him defile me later and treat me badly, talk to me badly. When I was going to get married at one point to somebody I was living with, and I was going to be a stepmother to his child, I spoke to that that boyfriend from in those days. I spoke to him because he answered the phone when I called for his sister, because we were friends then. He answered the phone and he says, "Oh, what's going on there?" And he was just real basic with me, flat. And I said that I was engaged to get married, and he says, "Oh, does he?" He said, "Does he know what a tramp you are?" Or so. He was really cold. He was really mean, and I was just always such a like lovely person to other people. I let people just treat me like that because I wouldn't come back and like a viper back to him like I should have. Here I am, an old lady now, right? Older, right? And I will tell him if I ever see him again what I think. The point is that I do have grace. So I'm not the kind of person really to, but I can't believe that, the person who I thought loved me, I couldn't tell him, no, I sure in the hell did not do this on my own accord. But he wouldn't have believed me if I had told him what happened. Who is Silent Rob? Silent Rob stop motion. Okay, Silent Rob, are you RT? Because if you are, you know what? Hit the road. Hit it already. Goodbye. There is scientific potential for EMF interference with the brain on some potential brain-computer interface. So that could be a plausible explanation, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but he'll have to find his way back in if he's a credible person and he's not like a sock puppet to the person that I think he could be. Is Silent Rob some kind of cartoon character? I don't know. It's just too funny that we have 17 people here. How strange. And we have only 3 likes. Oh my gosh. Well, I can guess. Eagle, thank you. And Jeffrey, thank you. And Phantom Liker, thank you. Well, I could be trying to get a virus, but the scalar technology, it seems like it always happens like right when I'm about to talk about certain topics, such as, and sometimes the drones pick up. But I have been trying to play a lot more music to drown out the drones, so to speak. Okay, we have private property. Somebody is trespassing on private property. Psychic abilities and intuition, tarot. Something about outer space, if we believe in such a thing. Some do, some don't. Kidnapped, hands tied. Oh, gosh. I would have to pull that one, wouldn't I? Okay, we have disposing of evidence. Somebody is burning things. So, okay, get this. They only went through half the files from what I understand. So what are they doing with the other half? And I assume, and I'm sure most everyone else does as well, that the less deplorable, dirty of the group, which all of it's deplorable, I'm sure, but the dirtier parts, the worst parts, I think were saved for last. So the most heinous of stories would be the ones that they're trying to hold back on giving. So are they burning them? Are they shredding them? What are they doing? But I think once you put things on the internet, there's no destroying it. I don't know. Below ground level. Okay, that goes down to the ending of the towers. There's a tower they show, and it's somebody destroying towers, kind of like what he does with his business, right? There's a celebrity involved here. We have natural disaster unavoidable. It's at sea. So I was sharing my information there not to be trivializing it, like as if it's so little or inconsequential or not a big deal. I'm putting it out there because if anything happens to me, then I think that there is a potential that could be part of the reason. But also, I'm a reader and I don't know how above the target I ever get. So I'm just putting that out there. And some people know who I am. And I think that the G team, if you know who I'm talking about, know who I am. They probably have me on their radar. And I don't give an F what they think of me because I don't lie. What I'm saying are my experiences. What I say is true. And I'm not trying to create scandal. Thing is that they are trying to cover things up. And so they're the bad guys if they're trying to cover their crimes. They're the ones that need to get themselves checked. There might be some good G members. When I say G, those are the people who think that they are in control, right? There might be some good ones. I don't know. I hope so. But right now is certainly not looking like it. But there could be moles in the camp of the ones that are taking this country down to its knees. I hope that there's moles that can get us through this. I might have some low vibrational people listening, so I'm going to be choppy about what I say. Low vibrational is what I got on the card. We have somebody trapped. It looks like a little one behind some kind of bars. So we did have kidnapped, abandoned, abducted, I think kidnapped, tied up. We had that. And it is hard to talk with a headache the size of what I have right now. Surveillance. Somebody is watching many, many screens right now. Today is a 9-day. Oops. Somebody's in disguise. Okay, so that could be in real life. It could be on any kind of platform. Somebody's sock puppeting and or um, catfishing. So they will mingle or look normal. They will look like just an ordinary person, but they aren't. Somebody's watching a call log. So the eyes and the ears are all over whatever's going on for someone. Somebody's ethics are under question. Somebody's device could be bugged. Delayed justice. Let me ask if this is about, if it's about the EP, the EPC. Is this delayed justice about the EPC people, the ones that are still criminal out there on this? Got a hard swing on yes. So this is actually germane to that justice delayed. So it's because they are all free and they aren't getting named yet. We have desert and mirage. Are there remains in the desert to some of these victims? Are there victim remains in the desert? We have a yes. So is this New Mexico? In New Mexico, are there remains? Yes. How about Nevada? Any in Nevada? Remains of victims in Nevada from the EPC situation. Got a yes on that one too. Got a hotel motel. So they were doing a lot of their deeds in hotels and motels. They were probably in business with some of these. There are science experiments going on. We know about that too. We have abuse and neglect, and on this one, it doesn't feel like it's a child. It feels like it's either an adult child or a spouse. And you can see a masculine's hands on a woman's mouth. So, like, she is being threatened if she doesn't go along, or she's being told that she better not tell anybody or something. She better not communicate what she knows or what she saw. There's a life insurance policy on someone. Yeah, somebody's trying to hush somebody's partner. There is somebody that's not getting named in the files, and they have a partner that this is kind of like a Melinda Gates thing. But this person, I don't know who this is. There is a spouse who could reveal their person, expose them, their spouse, and say they were part of it. But this does feel a bit like Melinda. So they're disgusted and they weren't really part of it themselves. It kind of feels that way. Somebody's watching multiple accounts on social media. There's some kind of fake news out there that has been pumped into. Is the fake news being pumped into the MAGA community? Yes, to keep them aligned, to keep them on the same track so they won't know things. And we have poison in drugs here. So poison in drugs. So pharmaceutical companies could be lacing what they're selling with something else. So I have been getting massive, it isn't as much lately, but massive likes or watches, views, likes on the Tracy Twyman and Cooper video that I did. And that was some time back. And I've thought of revisiting those, but we're already there. All the things they warned us about, all the things they talked about, we're already there. I had thought about going back and delving into them a little more. Then I thought about it and I thought, is this a hot topic I'm supposed to stay away from? Maybe these are people that YouTube might, put me on the radar for. I've had such trouble with shadow banning here and everywhere. So I don't know whether that would or wouldn't. I might kind of delve into it a little here and there, but I still haven't got my hands on any of the Tracy Twyman books. I think you have to pay good money to get some of her books. So I don't know if I can find a print of it online, but I think her husband was really greedy. I think he was keeping the rights. He was making money on her books. I would like to believe, and I thought I read on it prior, I would like to believe that she was in witness protection and she was living, but I don't think so. Not in the world we're in. I feel so bad because she cared and she was a good heart. She was a genius mind. Just this world is really much sicker than I ever imagined it to be. There is a gag order here, though. So when I'm speaking of her, I don't know. Maybe was there a gag order in relation to the Tracy Twyman ending? Yeah, it could be her husband has a gag order. He knows something, maybe. I don't know. A profile match. So they are looking for matches in DNA. I have been seeing a lot in my algorithms. Unsolved cases are becoming more solved recently. Somebody has gone off grid. That could be 𝐒𝐿. Radio silence, yeah. Somebody is being really quiet and they're not detectable at this time. There could be an abandoned city, an area, abandoned. So maybe they left, went off grid, and they left everything of theirs, their home before, abandoned. There could have been a crime, like a crime scene somebody left behind. We have forensics. And we have unsealed records. That could be part of the Maxwell Epstein thing, right? Yeah, somebody used an escape route. We have escape route here. Somebody was caged and they got freedom. I think this was EP, or I mean EP, 𝐒𝐿. I think that he walked out a free man and there was no death at all. So I see somebody coming out of a cage and completely free. The MAGAs are hearing a false narrative. The propaganda is the false narrative for the MAGAs, so they continuously support this farce. I have a yes on that. The pendulum was trying to change gears when I said this farce. Like I worded it like it wasn't expecting. Okay, you take care, Green US Gaming. You take care. Thanks for coming by. I'm trying to shake the headache. Sorry, guys. If anyone's still sitting here, it's like something is sitting on my head, like it's just trying to compress me. And maybe I'm fighting a virus too. That's something I've been dealing with too. But the ringing is real strong in the ears too. And I know the crows have been visiting me a lot. My ancestors have been trying to talk to me, and my memory and dreams have been bizarre. The Men in Black kind of thing, associating it to, I got my wires mixed about my grandfather being infantry. He's infantry. He was infantry. He was not a parajumper, but he did go to Normandy, and he had 3 different tours. I guess he did. He was in Britain, Normandy, and I can't remember where the 3rd one was now. But anyways, his dad before him, or a masculine energy before him, that my mother cannot corroborate. She does not know which one it was. In my dream, it was like I was watching a black and white movie, and these characters come towards me in an avatar of a woman dressed in the attire of that era. And I think it was like 40s, 50s, maybe era. I'm not sure. But they were like the feds, but they changed, like Men in Black kind of, like their look kind of changed. Like they did shift, like Men in Black. And this was in the dream. They were questioning me, like I was her. And they were questioning me. And I could only pontificate that this would be my family on my dad's side, on my mother's side, her dad's side. So bizarre. But I have had my experience with, I believe, the MIBs myself. So, of course, my memory would be zapped. But if some of you heard me prior, this is years later after the Draco thing. The Draco thing happened when I was 17. When I was married, right around the time, I think before I traveled back east. It might have been after I got back from going back east. The MIBs, I think, showed up on a summer night. My husband and I were on the sofa cuddling, watching movies, and our gaze was at the television, which was in the corner, away from the street, away from the door. And so I looked over at the door. My recall, that it's just a glimmer of memory here, looking at the door, and a car. I couldn't even tell because it was dark. I think it was a black car. Started going slowly right past us, and somebody pointed something at us, and a light flashed or something. I don't know if it was a GUN or if it was a light, like some kind of laser. I don't know what it was. And all I can say is it felt like an MIB encounter, like they messed with our heads. Like maybe they knocked me out with something, like with a laser. I don't know. So that they could then get me under trance, talk to me that way. I don't know. That is still fuzzy. And I think all this is coming from my mother's side, which my mother's side, my mother's side on her dad's side is really vague. And I will have to say that it's kind of a fool's errand to get information on that side, because her words were, um, they were racist, the grandparents to her, and they were haters of just about anyone, and they were religious. They were Bible thumpers, and she didn't have any real connection to them, and they weren't really even that caring or accommodating to being grandparents to their grandchildren. So it was like they were hateful people. And my grandmother, It was so strange in that era. She was a Rosie girl. So that was my mom's mom. She was a Rosie girl. So while my grandfather was away, she was helping build different kinds of military usable things. I won't say, but that's what she did at a factory. I'm trying to remember. I think she did it here in the Northwest, but I'm not sure because she did live back east too. But my mother, oh, anyway, I won't keep on talking about my stuff. Anyway, so here we have global operation. Plea bargain. Somebody is looking for a plea bargain. So I don't think they have to. If they're a criminal, he'll let them go. Orange Man will let anyone that's bad go, right? Yeah, because they have immunity. We got immunity here. So we have cuffs. Like, there's no way you're going to do time or go anywhere. Chain link. Yeah, the rest of us are going to be linked up. All the criminals go free. It's the upside down all over the place. Especially if they do the crimes for that entity, right? That entity and his friends. Yeah, so anything anyone says to him, if they do his bidding, they're on his side. Everything is off the record. I got off the record right there. Border crossing. So there is something maybe that is about immigration. He is allowing people to come from outside, maybe, and it's not on the record because he's portraying himself to be after immigrants, but we all know he's after United States citizens as well. And he even said, I'm going to go after homegrowns. And he has. And I believe it was 2 homegrowns that those thugs killed in the streets of Minnesota. Yeah, that's where we are. There's deleted footage. So yeah, somebody had their hands on some surveillance intel. They cut the surveillance tape. They destroyed evidence, something proving any kind of crime on someone. We have altered timeline. There is a cult. Most people will say that MAGA is a cult. I would agree. There's something that's top secret. Sorry, baby. Oh, bless you. Okay? Yeah. I just keep on thinking about that girl in that bed. And what did he do to her? Because there was a certain nervousness in her sound. And it reminds me of the victims that I've heard of that have made it through and survived. And just think of all the terrible things that happened to the ones that didn't. And I'm still dealing with, I think, the sheer shock that we as a nation are under a regime that is this evil, that we have truly demons running things. I mean, I have gone on with this knowing this and understanding this and not really questioning it too much, but I think the boomerang effect is hitting me, especially since I had all those aha moments come to me. So I was making shorts earlier for the channels. It had been a while since I'd done those. I was going to read the chakras and the South Node, North Node for anyone wanting them, but I don't see anybody really interested, so I'm not going to rush on it. Now that I have whatever this headache is that's going on with me, whatever it may be, if it's scalar or otherwise, I think I'm going to wait. There's a video or a channel that I ran into on here on YouTube, and this guy, he talks about the Matrix and just different things, right? He says we are all here against our will. He goes by Schizo Dumps. I don't think that was the name of his channel when I first found him. Yeah, or Schizo Dumps. And I think he classifies himself as schizophrenic, maybe. I don't know.
I want to talk about basically, I think there is a knowing in the human race that we are all sort of here against our will. Think about it.
I would agree to that,
right?
yeah.
Because none of literally none of us asked to be here.
I don't think so either.
In this world, right? None of us asked to be in this world, right? And a lot of us, right? If you look at like the reincarnation soul trap information, a lot of us are here against our will, and it's this big question. Like, did you? It's like ultimately, right? Did you even consent to being born to whatever family, whatever circumstances, whatever time period, right? So it's like, did you even consent to it in the first place, right? And so that's one thing that I think shows a lot about the nature of this reality. But another thing too is, I mean, if you ask 99% of people, right, do you want to be here? Like, what do you mean here? Like, what do you want to be on Earth? Right? If there were, and this leads to another thing, right? Well,
I have to say I believe him. But I gave you his channel, so you can go check it out if you want to. There is another channel that I used to go to, and I hadn't for some time. My heart it probably split in half when I saw it. I kept on, because I've been trying to be careful. I don't watch too much. I have to watch how much energy I'm putting out because of the cost. I'm trying to be careful. I shaved off $15. Yay, for being more conservative. From the last bill, or what's coming from the last bill. And it's really hard to run very little energy in this era, especially with the prices as hard as they are, high as they go. But anyways, not to be on that forever. There's a channel that I used to watch. I used to indulge in all the time. And he goes by Zero's TV. He's a gamer, but he talks technology. So that was what got me to watch his videos. And he started talking about the AI information, and he talked about how we are being forced to get our IDs to go online, how they're trying to implement all these totalitarian, technical kind of prison rules. Anyways, he's a really good informative guy, entertaining too. And he is a solar. So when I say that, he's melanated, okay? And I hadn't seen him for a while, so I just thought, well, maybe he got the COVID, or maybe he's been busy. Maybe he left YouTube altogether finally, because he talked about doing that. And I kept seeing this feed of this thumbnail of this guy who didn't look like him at all, because he let his afro go, because he had a real stylish afro and he let it go. So I didn't know who he was, so I wasn't looking at the name on the channel. And I don't usually, like, lately, I don't usually zero in on any videos, to be quite honest. It's been hit and miss with me lately because I'm trying to avoid the files. I'm trying to avoid the lower frequency stuff, things that are going to bring me down. Because as you can hear me right now, I'm tired. I'm battling the headache and everything else. I don't need anything more on top of that. So anyway, so I finally took a double take at it. I think it was the third time I saw his video come through my algo. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Ciro's. I click on it. He has, I don't know if he's still with his wife. He had a wife. I don't know much about that. He's been really productive at keeping that separate, but he never was secretive about being married. But he sounds like he jammed his car full of his items, his possessions, and he was driving. He said from snowy. I'm trying to remember. Was he coming from Minnesota? He was coming from Detroit. He was coming from Detroit where it was snowy, and he was going to go someplace more in the Midwest. I forget where. But anyways, those those cold-hearted creatures that are like stormtroopers, they got him. They got him. And his car was full of his belongings. I hope he didn't have his cat with him, but he might have. He had a Snickers in his glove box, all of his things in the car so he could move. And they beat the you know what out of him. He said that he lost control of his number one and he was vomiting. They were so horrible to him. They were racist. Sounds like they were. I don't think that they were, because obviously a lot of people that are hired sometimes can be Hispanic, but most are white. So they were brutal to him. He said that they got him on his knees and they said that he probably stole everything that was in the car. They basically called him a thief and they said this is good treatment he's getting or something. It would be worth. I forget his words, but kind of like insinuating that they should just send him to jail and that they're going to let him go. They took a Snickers, which he'd been driving a distance and he planned to eat that Snickers to sustain him on the drive. What kind of individuals, what kind of demons are we allowing to do this to our nation, to our people? My heart broke when I saw him speaking his story. And it was brave for him to go out there and say it. It was so sad. I don't even think he owns his desk anymore. Maybe not even some of the stuff he had during production of his podcasting. Because it was all set up like he had very little at that point. Like everything was broken. He had a traffic light that is for, I don't think it was a real traffic light. I don't know the story on that. It could have been something he got that's kind of like novelty. I don't know if it's real, but he kind of mentioned something about that. But this guy is like, I'm sure the straightest laced guy. I don't think he's ever been in trouble, but he's being judged just purely by. This is an evil time we're in. I'm just so tired of it. I don't know what happened there. That's not my sound. I don't know what that is. I don't know if anybody's here anymore. Jeffrey, are you still here? I won't harm myself. Oh, I think what it is I just need to talk. I have no one to talk to. I've expressed this some time back, but I think my other is he's either not the same person he used to be because of sorcery or the other kind of sorcery, the pharmaceuticals. He's not the same person. We can't talk. We can't talk. There's just, I love him, but I can't talk to him. There was a time when we used to talk about everything. And even if I had something woo-woo to talk about and he didn't agree, he would still listen. Now he just shuts down. And we're just not on the same page. He even tries to not listen to me. Like when I'm talking to him, he puts his headphones on and it's like he tunes me out. Unless I come lay with him next to him in his bed and we cuddle, there's really nothing more than he wants from me. And we share the household things that we do and take care of around here, but he retired and I think that he's not happy he had to do that because of his injury. I asked my pendulum if he was my twin because Carrie said he was, and it said a strong no. I'm staying because I married him. It's a contract that I do. I am an Aquarius. Aquarius is usually are pretty loyal. We've been through hell though. He kind of pushed me into a paradigm I didn't want to go into. Yes, I probably should have not. I should have probably got a divorce. I should have. It's so weird how I'm just like the other Aquarius I know who's 10 years to the day. We're 10 years apart. I don't know about the time of her birth. We're 10 years to the day, Aquarius, same birthday. And she was in a marriage and it finally ended. She finally divorced him. They were together and they were growing apart. And he was actually root chakra based. I'm not gonna lie, that's my husband right there, root chakra base. That's pretty much it. He has a big heart, he loves me. I know he does, but his interests are mostly about the words. I can't even express here. Anyways, but so we had the same exact kind of marriage. It's so weird. She did and I did. Her name's Kim, and she moved away. She now is in California, but our marriages are so similar. It's frightening. Anyways, I know it's kind of boring. I'm just talking and yammering, but excuse me, I just think I just need to talk because this world is just, it feels like it's just devouring everything and everything that's good. And I feel like I'm actually in the belly of the beast right now. I really feel like Jonah in the whale story, I mean, I know I'm no saint. I was put here to make mistakes so that I could learn from them and then help others. I mean, that's why I do what I do, why I am the messenger. That's why I do what I do, because I have experience. I've lived. I'm not perfect. I've had to atone for my things that I've done or things I did wrong. Whatever it is I've done, I've paid for so many of my misdoings. I'm physically going through some ailments again because the cold's creeping in here. So my foot I was even trying to remember if it was my right or my left foot. And I'm having a pretty strong memory that it is the right one. I do remember putting it on the dashboard. We were walking down to the Trailblazer. I can't think of what they called it. The Rose Garden. That's right. It used to be the Rose Garden. Now it's the Moda Center or something like that. Anyways, we were walking down there and there's a cancer research center. And there was a crack in the sidewalk and the sun was shining. So I couldn't see it. And I twisted my ankle. I fell and I couldn't barely get up. I needed his help. He went to get the car. He had to get the car so that I could get to the car because there's no way that I could walk to the car. So I stayed on the ground until he got the car. And then when we got in the car, my sneaker was starting to expand. And my foot, it grew to this level I never imagined it would do. And I did some real damage to myself then. And I think that right now with all the cold, I think it's re-emerging. I was on the gazelle trying to get some fitness and it was aggravating it. So I went the course. I went as far as I could. I did a good 30 or so minutes on the gazelle, but it really hurt. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm sorry if I'm just talking about things that are so low. I'm not trying to be. Oh, life has just gotten me. It's really gotten me. Um, I really am grateful that I can help people that do come to me though. That gives me, it feels like purpose. It gives me direction. And I don't want to let anybody down. And I know that there are times I think I might. I can't believe I've been at it with the same group of people for as long as I have, because I didn't have any kind of success. And this is not really, it is to its level, but it's not huge success. It's not YouTube standard, but this is the most success I've had at YouTube. So it's a surprise that I'm still going, and YouTube has been after people like myself. So I'm grateful for whatever reason I'm still going. Grateful for those that are helping and supporting too. But then there's this other question that really bugs me. I went to the Shanghai tunnels when I was a teenager. I was taken there by one of the guys that I know later I realized was a master mason. Now he was a boyfriend. He was the one that was mad at me and went to the dance with the other guy, and they picked two girls out from the school just to kind of brandish them in my face. Um, he was the one that took me to the tunnels. He knew Portland inside and out. And I can't help but wonder if these reptoids, these Dracos, if they, because they can go through walls, they can do, they shapeshift, they can do all kinds of things. I wonder if they travel through underground, because that's what happened when I was 10. Um, they said that the whole block was going to blow up. They knocked at our door and they told us the whole block was going to blow up. And they said we needed to get in our cars and leave. So everybody was making a mad exodus out of the area. And it had previously been military housing where we lived. And I saw some man come up from underground with this with these platform uh not platform. When you take metal and you have bars and you open the underground up with two doors and they're like made of metal. I think they might have been under, like, say, shrub or something. I'm not sure. I saw them do that at some point. So I think that something was going underground and they were trying to keep us from seeing something that was going on down there. And that's the thing, that when the guy who is involved with that network that I knew, my mom's boyfriend, he was coming around and being shady and seeing my mother there until it got exploited, till the truth come out, which my mother did not full-fledgedly believe me, or she kept him around, I should say. She broke up with him because it was too safe face for the family, as to not, like, be cavorting with somebody who did something to her daughter. But she liked how he spoiled her because he spent money. And my uncle come to kick him out because my uncle found out, you've been messing with my niece. You get the hell out of here or I'm going to put you in a body bag, is what he told him. And my uncle wasn't somebody you messed with. And I was shocked that my mother or anybody had exploited the story of what happened to me to my uncle. I didn't even know he knew, and he was in town, and he usually was out of town with his work. Anyway, so the guy that was my mom's boyfriend left and never come back until I was in my mother's bedroom sleeping in her bed with her because my grandmother and my aunt had to come live with us. Then he started coming to her window and talking to her at night. And I heard him say, "You don't believe that story, do you?" As if I was lying. And she said, "No." So they assumed, she assumed, and I don't know if anyone else assumed, that I was lying about him doing what he did to me. So she was cavorting with him behind my back, and I found that out. The whole thing was like a big betrayal to me. It was heartbreaking, and she never talked to me about it. It was like when she finally broke up with him, it was because he cheated on her. It wasn't because of what happened to me. So that was so heartbreaking. But anyways, we have tried for years to kind of rectify our relationship, to fix that mend fences. I don't know how she really feels about things. I still don't. But we have tried to. So this is the kind of dynamic. I mean, I care about my mother. I love her, but the thing is, you got to wonder why people do what they do. It just kind of, that's why we're dealing with the Epstein stuff, right? You don't. I think I missed when you said you don't. I'm sorry, I don't know when you said that. So I guess I'm just kind of just telling my tales here, the things I've lived through, and the dynamics in which and how I understand things. Now, this is even scarier, as my mother may have been chosen to be monarched. She could have been a monarch, and she had me. Therefore, she's programmed to go against them, or she's programmed not to go against them. She's programmed to betray me, not them. So it could be her programming, could not be. Maybe I was lucky enough to have deprogramming capabilities, because my stepfather, who was before this boyfriend that I'm speaking about, was very bad. He made me do things that I can't even express here. I will say that I was only a year and a half when I met him, and I do know they did things to babies, according to what I read about through comments. I did not read my own on that files and everything, but I know that babies were involved in some of the things. So the thing is that I was really sensitive to my own experience, because the recall come up when I was like in my 20s. I had a massive memory hit me, and it was hard to shake it. I told my mother, because it was after she'd already known about the other incidents, which was later. And she just said I was probably having past life experiences. I was remembering a past life. But I remember him. And then later she told me about the babysitter who was involved. This is like a Ghislaine Maxwell thing, where there was an older girl who was taking me under wing when I was just a little girl. So right up until I was 4, from a year and a half to 4, maybe. And the thing is, this is what's really scary. There was a guy who worked for Intel. I want to say it's Intel, and I'm only going to give his first name. I won't give his last. He was a programmer to computers. My friend I worked with at in a retail place when I was in my 20s. She went on a dating site and met him, and they knew each other, and he had a condo in the same building that that guy that I said I thought had my birth certificate, who bought my birth certificate, who is from China, the one that I said was part of the the it's that one family. It's an Illuminati family. Anyways, they lived in the same condo, and it's in the more wealthy side of town. Anyways, this guy Mark, he talked to me on the phone. I don't remember how this happened. He called me. She and him, I think, broke up, and he called me. He had my number, and he called me or something. And he was trying to woo me into talking to him about my background, because she told him I was molest, right? Apparently, he had a thing for children, and I was disgusted by him. And I kind of got him in a corner, and I think I trapped him. I cannot remember what I did. I was kind of cagey when I was in my 20s. But thing is that this girl that I worked with, she was a couple years younger than me, and she was a early childhood development person who taught children. And I thought, this is seedy. What if she brought him around children she was dealing with professionally or the ones in her family. I was really, really wigged out about this guy. So that's a term I haven't used in forever, wigged out. Yeah, so when I called him on his stuff and I let him know, I let him have it, I turned around, I think the next day to check in on this, and his number was changed. And then I told her about it, told her about everything. And she said, well, that's weird. She said, I broke it off with him. And she said, I didn't think that he would change his number. And I explained to her what happened. And she took her car and she went over there and he moved. So he knew that the jig was up, that we would probably get him in trouble and he would end up facing being behind bars over his, and maybe he did a lot more than I know about. I don't even know about anything. I just know he had an interest. So therefore, he could have done things. That could have been enough. Or he was hoarding material. I don't know, because he was Intel. He was a computer man. He created computer software. So I don't know. And the Northwest is really bad for this because there's a guy who I used to watch on YouTube, and his name's Quinn Michaels, and he was SRA'd. And there was like, he worked for Nike, and he spoke on his accounts, and it was in his family. There were things that went on with his family. And so, like, the satanic stuff that went on there as well, having to have underage people involved, he spoke about it. It was pretty bad. And he's from this area. Anyway, I think people who work in the computer industry may be kind of questionable because it seems like there's a link there to that. So maybe Silicon Valley. I don't think Silicon Valley's around now. Are you getting snow yet, Jeffrey? I have to go put my water on in a second, make sure that the pipes don't freeze. That's the thing, is I am honest to a fault. I probably do tell more than I need to. I mean, sometimes I feel like I feel like I have to back it up a little bit, look back at what I've done, what I've said, because sometimes I do things like that, and it's like people don't need to always know everything. But right now, I think it's imperative that people quit hiding also the stuff that is dirty, that is causing our world to go into the abyss. Because it's where we are sort of at, in the abyss. I hope that anybody that wants to get out of this country can. If it wasn't for my contract to be there for my mother, because I don't think she's going to want to go anywhere, and we don't really have anything to take with us because, as I've said, we're not sovereign people. We're not successful. I'm contracted in. There's a lease that I have signed. There's a marriage that I have, and my boys. I could not be apart from them. It's just no way. I'm just so heartbroken to think about. Back to Sarah's TV, because I saw him with his cat, and he says it's the saddest thing. I think he's the one that said there was somebody I saw in a video. I thought it was him. It's just starting to snow, very windy. Do you have wind chimes? Are you hearing your wind chimes? I'm trying to move around here. It's kind of a maze getting out of where I'm at. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, honey. Stay there, okay? Make sure the nurse went over here. I'm back. I had to make my rounds and make sure that the water is going everywhere. I don't want to have any pipes busting on us. You used to. I love wind chimes, especially bamboo. Or wooden bamboo is so pretty. I think I have a past life in Japan. Maybe. Or maybe Vietnam. Because I'm so attracted to the Vietnamese people. I mean, maybe it was Vietnam. I don't know. Because, I mean, I was born in such a time it could have been maybe Vietnam. Who knows? I mean, really. So I was just thinking about the gate program because I was having my left ear just now. It started to make a different tone, and it reminded me of those headphones that I used to wear when I was in school. They take me in for the gate. I believe it was the gate program because it was a special group, and they only selected some of the students, and that it had to be the gate because I remember the pink stuff. I remember all of the stuff other people talk about, so it had to be. But I don't have an exceptionally. I didn't then like GPA or my grades. I did test one time. My IQ was pretty good, pretty strong, pretty high, actually. Thing is, it's not something that's ever been like picked up on by anything professional, like or a scholar or like the education systems or anything like this. So I don't know. I don't know why they were. And the thing is that I do have recall of doing something. I saw in the algorithms, the GATE program, they said that kids remember flying. I did it before I was even in school. I remember levitating. So I was like 4 years old when that happened in Idaho. Can you hear me okay from where I'm at? Because I put the machine way away from me, so hopefully I am picking up on the mic. So yes, there's something going on with my left ear now. I don't know if they're doing this or if this is something else, because and I haven't heard from Carrie in a couple days. I hope she's doing okay. Cherry come through today. It was good to see her. I know that there's a lot of snow up there. Have they prognosticated that there'd be very much there, Jeffrey, in Nevada? I think it'd be kind of cool to see it here because not since I've lived where I'm at have I seen it, I don't think. But I don't think I want the ramifications, of the cold, or it being difficult for people to get around, things like that. Music is at a good level. Thank you. That's actually a chakra healing one that I've got going right now. I'm trying to align them because I don't want to get out of whack when it comes to my chakras. I was checking the shorts, the videos for each of the channels I did shorts on. I got 3 on a couple of them, and I think just 1 on another one. So I'm going to see if there's anything on Tracy Twyman while I don't know if there is, but let me see if there is. Maybe I can find something on the You check them out. Were they okay? I know it's not something I'm used to doing. It's kind of fun that there's some music you can pick through, but it doesn't let you do it that long. So that, in a sense, it kind of stinks. But okay. I know Google has some books I could read from, maybe. I can't remember which book she has that is the harder one to get a hold of. I'm just reading the things that they have in the crawler for the searches. On our official website, it says when Tracy Twyman's estate protested. What is this? I think that's a book. I don't know what the heck that's about. There's a lot of profanity I can't really be saying here on YouTube. Well, there was Reddit. 𝐒𝐜𝐚𝐿𝐿 Tracy Twyman. As mentioned, the people behind the psychological operation were effectively stealing Tracy Twyman's theories and insights, even implanting them in photo ops in a way that would make people foam at the mouth with revolutionary. Let me see, we'll click on this and see what we find out. You enjoyed them? Thank you. I appreciate you. The songs were kind of, some of them were, I'm trying to remember what songs would be something you would use for like occult and mystery, and I was trying to figure that out, and I was like, I really wanted to do more for this channel. So with Tracy, somebody is saying, so this is somebody talking at Reddit. Um, they say, this is my first post on Quora, and judging by how the entire technocracy has colluded to erase Tracy Twyman's memory and work from the internet, it seems doubtful that many people will ever get to read the answer. This is because some very, very powerful people are determined to make sure that the public knows as little as possible about this woman, and that those that did know of her are convinced that Tracy went mad and killed herself in July of 2019. No, she did not. She said she wouldn't, just like um, Virginia Giuffre, same thing. They both had children. There's no way they would have. And they both said they wouldn't. And I'm the same way. So, anyone listening, Jeffrey and anyone else, there's no way I would either. I have my sons. I absolutely would not. And I also believe that the divine does not want, the Most High does not want us to do that. It goes against our spark. She had been receiving threats to her life, and she had her sites hacked. And it says she was being cyberstalked for several years before her ending. Certain people were not happy with this smart and engaging woman who had her vast knowledge of historical bloodlines and occult symbolism to decode the very fabric of reality. After immersing myself in her writing, and interviews for the past few months, it's become obvious that there are certain teachings that are deliberately kept hidden from public awareness. Such teachings enable the powerful to collude with forces both seen and unseen, and for many nefarious agendas. If enough people knew what Tracy knew, it could threaten the stranglehold that the 0.01% have over the rest of us plebs, and they simply couldn't stand for that. Now they could. Now could they? That's a simple answer. Okay, so here's the thing. Here in the Northwest, we have a place called Voodoo Donuts, when the story of Tracy and 𝐒𝐚𝐥𝐵 was all over the place. They were exploiting the pizza story and also Voodoo Donuts and the under tunnel areas I was talking about prior, the Shanghai days I was talking about prior, those areas in which some people say some of the children went missing here in the Northwest. So I'm wondering if Dracos were part of this network. Some of these characters may be human all the way, and others could be Draco posing as humans. I don't know. It's a hypothesis. It's all it is. Your music tracks with my tastes, even though I'm 16 years. Well, actually, most of the people I used to run around with are more like your generation. You know, because we are a little bit apart in age. But like my other half, he's 7.5 years or 6.5 years, I think, my senior. But I mean, I dated people older than me, so, and I worked with a lot of people. We used to listen to it was a local channel, I guess, KEX. I would listen to 50s and 60s music as well as 70s when I was working in the research facility. And I think I was also around a lot of people who like different music. So I mean, so I'm actually very. I think the 70s is my best music, though. What I like the best when I feel attracted to music, I think I feel myself more connected to the 70s, and most of it was happier. Most of it. Did you like David Bowie at all? I used to put my 45s on the record when I was a little girl, and I would sing to um, Golden Years and Fame. And then there was Oh What a Night. There I can't think of who did that one. Oh What a Night. Down in 63 something. Um who was that? Can't think of who it was. I had the record. I had the 45, I think. Do you remember when record players were cabinets? They were like a piece of furniture, and you'd flip the lid open, and then you would take your record and you would put it on the I can't remember what they call it, the spindle thingy, and then you would put the needle on it, or sometimes it would be auto, so it would go to the beginning of the music on its own. Do you remember that? The thing I liked about the 70s is people didn't have all the same things. It wasn't all uniform. We had some real creative things, and things were so rustic, it seemed like, or just basic. We had what we needed. Nothing had to be so pizzazz. I mean, for some people, maybe it was, but it was what we needed. It wasn't beyond what we needed. Yeah, they were probably the size of a nice sized chess, and they close up, and usually the speakers were in front, so they were kind of like out, maybe noticeable. Or they didn't look like speakers, like boxy. I guess the 70s stereos, like I'm talking about, kind of had a 50s appeal to them, maybe a little bit. They were big to move too, I think, if I remember correctly. '70s years, but you're that's mine too. It's funny. Yeah, because there's something to it, isn't there? '70s was a very charming time. And I think the worst thing that could have happened also was not that disco was the be all end all, because all the music of the '70s was pretty good. Whether it was rock, soft rock, disco, reggae, it could have been anything. It was all good, really. But it was sad when people decided to destroy the '70s music. And I think that might have been a boondoggle for when we felt our frequency change, because a lot of musicians mention how they tweaked the note or the frequency level or something on the instruments, and they unilaterally did that for all the bands. But acoustic guitars, I don't think they did that. Of course, I don't think so. So I put the video that was on visual only today. I took it off sooner than I planned to. I was going to let the battery go completely dead. So in the experiment, I guess, I had 4 hours, I think. Was it 4 hours? Whatever the time was when it ended, that was how long it was on. I went from 100% juice down to 32%. So it took me down more than 50%. I think I could have gone to 6 or 7 hours, maybe, with an entire battery storage in that machine. You're the second person to ask me that. What was my favorite color in the '70s? Is there something going around online that I don't know about? Because you're the second person to ask me what was my favorite color. Roxy asked me that too. I don't really know. I mean, the '70s was a different time. I do think I liked purple, but my aunt liked purple, and Donnie Osmond, he used to wear purple socks or something. I don't know. That is a good question, because I think that I was always changing. I mean, now it's like, yeah, I'm the same way. I think I like all colors, but it's quite possible that I was always rotating. Like maybe I would change my favorite color. I think for a spell I liked blue or purple. I might have liked red. Back then there was a lot of orange and green being thrown around too. I don't recall. Maybe they've dissected me and taken that memory from me. I don't recall having something that I would prefer. Could be that I was from, because I was kind of a you'll get what I give you and like it kind of attitude from my mother. So aside from She was not always that way, but I mean, she was she had a term she used to use on me, um beggars can't be something. So in other words, you get what you get and enjoy it, whatever it is, right? I can't remember what it was that I because I don't think that the preference, I don't think you could have pink then. Pink wasn't around so much. Now, my mother was vicariously living through me, I think, when she got me all the Barbie dolls. I had tons of Barbie dolls. And so I would get the dresses and the shoes, and she got me a purple Corvette. I loved the purple Corvette for the Barbie, but I don't think I had a preference in anything. Could be in clothing, like maybe I did sometimes pick, but there was a myriad of colors in whatever top or something I would wear. So it would be like usually not one color, it'd be like lots of things, in there, like flower tops or something like that. And then rainbow was real popular in the 70s. So the rainbow this or that. Um, yeah. Purple was your guess? Like my first wife, she was Aquarian. Yeah, I think the best that I could give you would be maybe purple. But like I said, maybe my aunt, was the reason I would go off of purple. But I think that I probably like purple quite a bit. I mean, like I was really into like grape, and come to think of it, yeah, it was probably purple. Because I think my go-to flavor was grape. I like strawberry and cherry, all the other flavors, fruit flavors, but I liked grape whenever I would get something that was flavored when I was a girl. The clothing was much vibrant in the 70s. Yeah, do you remember the velour tops girls would wear that were shiny? I had those kind of tops, and those V-neck ones that had different kinds of like 70s like things. Like usually it was, I keep thinking unicorns, maybe rainbows. It was very what we call new age nowadays, right? It was very like that. And sometimes stripes. And oh, I love the peasant tops. The peasant dresses, those are so cute. Yeah. That was my way of dressing in the warmer weather. Um there were some of these kinds of tops that were like kind of like hoodies, and they would have strings, but they were kind of like poncho maybe sometimes too, and there would be a hood on the back. I've seen like Barbara Streisand movies. I think she wore things like that then too. In her movies like Pete's Dragon or one of those with Ryan O'Neal. I think she did that one with him. And then of course we had gauchos. Those were popular. They're ugly, but they're popular. There was gauchos. There was we had gym shorts. People didn't wear shorts. They wore gym shorts most of the time. So it looked like kind of like how Erica Estrada and everybody was dressed on chips. They had the little trim around the end at the bottom of them, like white. I had what was like sateen. They were Dove. They were sateen gym shorts. I wore them. You wouldn't get caught dead in those in this day and age because they were just so revealing. I mean, the wind or something flap. There's no way you should wear that kind of stuff in this era. But yeah, that was the 70s. We were actually less assuming then that anybody would be risque about stuff, but things were a bit more um, natural. People, I don't think, suspected anything foul play when it come to anybody looking at people's clothing and what was revealing. Capri pants, I think, come out a little bit after Gauchos. Well, they might have been around at the same time, but Gauchos was so popular. Do you remember when Reeboks were like the shoe, the one, and then Nike was just kind of up and coming around then? Because I kind of remember when Nike was brand new. See, I had a Secret Santa come to my school, and I think it was because of the GATE program. I'm not certain, but they gave me a pair of Nikes and they gave me a Rubik's Cube. And that was the most bizarre thing, but that was when Nike was brand new, and actually the logos fell off. I wore them. The logos fell off. They were cheaply made then. They were tan with blue logos, I think. The colors were less to be desired when it come to some of the things like tennis shoes and things like that back in the 70s. There was one girl, though, I went to school with, and her parents owned a plane and land in the Bahamas. She was always getting things that were so rare and random. She would show up with things that were not what we had. So other girls might just have, the factory basic on this or that, and she would show up with something extra exciting. Yes, Reebok was my second wife's favorite white leather nurse type shoe. Yeah, Reeboks are pretty popular. They're sized a little bit smaller than Nike, I think, but I'm not sure. I wear Skechers in this day and age. There was a time when I think I wore Keds, and then there were a couple brands in the 80s I think that I liked, but right now I can't remember what they were. I might have had a couple pairs of Velcro shoes in my day. Yeah, if I could get in a time machine, it'd probably be for between the 70s and 80s. Probably 86 would be my cap. Maybe even 83, because it insinuates no 84, right? I do not want anything to do with 84 again because of the story, and I don't want to be living in that story. But maybe 73 to 83. I don't know, that decade. What's your favorite song from the 70s or band? I like New Balance, Skechers, and HIT. Yeah, New Balance is a pretty good shoe too. I just hadn't found any the last time I went to get them that I wanted. The Skechers was pretty okay, fair priced. They had some decent colors to choose from too. Oh, high tech. Okay. Rolling Stones. There's okay. I like Angie and Mama's Little Helper and um the one that just come on. Oh yeah, the horse. The one about the horse. What is the name of that one? I love that song. Wild Horses, right? Wild Horses couldn't drag me away or something. Wild Horses. I'm gonna probably get in trouble. I'm gonna try and see if I can get it. Let's see if it's the one I'm thinking about. And waiting on a friend too. I like that one. I think it's Wild Horses that I like. There's a real slow one. I think it's the one. The bad thing with me is that I usually get hooked on a song, like by a band, according to usually. I don't know how this happens, but if I see them and if I see or hear the film, put it in the soundtrack, it catches my attention. I can't shake it, and I gotta go out and get the. This is how my life has been, right? I'd have to go out and buy it, and or have it so I could keep playing it because that's how I get attached to the song. "Girl with Faraway Eyes" was a country hit from them. I don't know if I know that one. I'll have to look into that one. "Girl with Faraway Eyes." So they did country as well? Well, Mick must have quite range because to do that, maybe, well, they'd been around, I think, a good decade. It had steel guitar on it. It was one off. Guitar on it was a one off. I like Bachman Turner Overdrive and Dire Straits. I really, really like Three Dog Night. Mama told me not to come. And Jeremiah was a bullfrog. I really like them. Joy to the World. Um, I was always into Supertramp and who else? Pink Floyd. Alan Parsons Project, of course. I really love that band. And those guys come from different bands. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Powell, Lake and Palmer, Robert Palmer. All of those players are really good. I love Blue Oyster Cult. I didn't know I did though until I was older. Um, I think because everyone I knew always was into them when I was young, I felt they were overrated. So, being an Aquarius, I've never been a person who liked what everyone else liked. I was always well behind on the fads because I just that whole follow your own drummer thing, that is who I am totally. And so it's like somebody else is going to jump off the bridge. No, I sure in the hell won't. So I'm like, I don't want to, um, get on the bus and be with everyone else, be like them. So I'm just kind of on my own groove. But it took me all my life pretty much to realize I really liked Blue Oyster Cult. Did you like Rod Stewart? Chicago. I'm trying to think of the Doobie Brothers. Foghat. I saw the Doobie Brothers in Foghat on the riverfront here in Portland. I saw Heart. Let's see. I saw. Oh yeah, I did get to see 38 Special. I really like them. Foreigner was playing with Heart here at a state fair, I think, and my husband and I went to go see them. All of the above, yes. I like Lobo and some of the more rare bands, I like Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. And Cat Stevens. I'm gonna bore you with all the talk, with all the music talk. Let me just kind of zip over to the Tracy Twyman thing real quick. I'm gonna just read a little bit more of that before I forget. See, the thing is that Tracy Twyman went on the radio show that is local here. Clyde Lewis has, and this happened before she died, and I want to say it was the same year she died. But there is nowhere I can find like a saved copy of it at YouTube or anything like that. So I don't know if he has copyright on it so it can't be shared, or if it's not out there to share. But she and him and I think another guest might have shown up. They were doing Ouija board, and she was talking about Baphomet. She was talking about, there was this character called Dr. Kildor, and it was a demon, if you will, that showed up that they were talking to at the board. And I myself have not played with Ouija boards, but anyways, they did this, and I think it was Kildor. It turned out to be a female. The Dr. Kildor was actually a female. But this happened within the same year, I think, that she did pass. So she had been talking years earlier about sacrifice, about satanic worship, and these different deities. And I think that the little pink boxes and going into the tunnels here in Portland, I think she was really onto something. And if J.E. had been, or his industry that he was part of, right, been privy of coming to this area, she might have ruffled feathers of that group because she was actually naming names. And they still are in business. The place called Voodoo Donuts, they're still in business. And I don't know if they're related to any of the things going on as of late, but they were insinuated during the, I want to say 2017 to 19 years, maybe right before that. I had a t-shirt from there. I destroyed it after that happened. After I heard about that, I destroyed it. Because the idea, if they were involved in that kind of criminal activity, that low, against humanity, right? There is no way that I would wanted to brandish their, wear their clothing. 7 years ago, somebody documented that they called her the Pizzagate researcher, that they said that she'd written extensively on the occult, the CIA mind control, Baphomet, and other dark forces in this world. 7 years ago, this was on Reddit. It says, I was rather disturbed by the post here yesterday of the researcher TT, who supposedly died after finding YouTube videos of CP, which I can't say those words, okay, not together specifically, an alleged CSEX slavery by Magnora 7. After spending some time looking into her background, I found quite a few books which she wrote to portray these evil dark forces in sympathetic view. Yeah, see, the thing is I think she was coming around. I don't think she was really, I think she just did a lot of hardcore research. So people who were casting judgment on her don't realize that she probably did fall into some of the worst energies, but I don't think she was specifically knowing that she cared so much about her child. I don't think she lived that way. I mean, I don't think she would have partaken in anything with a, say, demon. The fact that there's no obituary, no news article, not a single record of her death, indicates strongly to me this is a hoax. That's what somebody's saying. See, that's the thing. I kind of wondered if it was witness protection. Because, I mean, the JE character, I don't know. I'm probably too tired to talk about this, let alone look into it. My head is hurting. I probably ought to get some sleep, I guess. Thank you for talking with me, Jeffrey. I really appreciate you. Oh, I didn't ask you if you like The Who. Roger Daltrey. How about Eric Clapton? See, there's always somebody that comes to mind, but I'm kind of slow tonight because my head has been under some kind of attack here. I probably ought to get some sleep. It's midnight right now. Over here, it's midnight at this moment. So I'm going to wrap this one up, I guess. It's nothing real exciting, but yeah, we did go live. Thanks, Eco, for coming by too. I don't know if you're still around, but thank you. And Jeffrey, thank you for talking to me. I'm sorry if I've been, I'm not down, like depressed. Okay, so I don't want anyone worried about me for that effect. I'm tired and my head has been through it, so that's why I sound like I do. But ultimately, I am weighed down by emotions, like feeling powerless. I want to feel powerful. I think we all have power in us, but I think we all have to be united to get that, to resolve this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and hang my mic up for the night, I guess. So be well, stay aware, and thank you again for being with me here, for your support. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate you very much. So I hope you stay warm. Keep your pipes running. I'm sure you already know that. Stay warm and comfortable, and always be aware. we'll be talking soon. I'm going to save the readings I was going to do for the chakras and the nodes. So they will be, I have all the materials here. They will be looked at sooner than other readings will be, but I'll probably do them during live streams. Thank you. You rest well too. Stay warm. Okay, I'll see you soon. And for anyone who's quietly sitting here, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you were someone that belonged here. Return to sender if you did not. Okay, stay well. I'll talk soon. Deja vu out.